Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 1 of August 2026. India plans to invest up to Rs 45,000 crore over the next 2 years to upgrade railway infrastructure along its borders with China, Pakistan and Bangladesh. The project aims to strengthen military logistics and civilian connectivity across frontier states, reinforcing strategic preparedness amid evolving regional security challenges and geopolitical shifts. 360 ONE WAM Limited, India's largest independent wealth manager, seeks to grow its market share in India's wealth management sector. The firm currently manages nearly 10% of the ultra-rich market. Demand for asset management services is soaring across India's wealthiest families. This growth is fueled by company listings and private equity investments. 360 ONE plans to serve a quarter of these families soon. Indian car makers are absorbing rising commodity costs to sustain production levels. Demand for vehicles remains robust, driving sales growth since last October. Companies are controlling costs and expanding capacity to meet customer needs. This approach prioritizes production over short-term profit margins. Price increases are being implemented cautiously to offset cost pressures. Jindal Steel will not take on debt for capacity expansion, focusing instead on optimizing operations. The company plans to invest in value-added products and improve cost efficiencies over coming years. A new slurry pipeline is expected to significantly reduce logistics costs per ton. Jindal Steel aims for 100% capacity utilization before considering further expansion plans. This strategy contrasts with rivals who are increasing their capital expenditure significantly. Snabit and Urban Company's InstaHelp platforms each completed over 1 lakh jobs on Sunday. Intense competition in the segment drove household work prices down to 29 rupees. Both companies offered aggressive promotional discounts, with Urban Company showing up to 88% off. InstaHelp promises worker arrivals within 15 minutes for various household chores. This milestone reflects growing consumer demand and a strong operating model for these services. Global consumer product makers reported strong demand in India during the June quarter. Companies like Mondelez and L'Oreal saw accelerating growth and market share gains. Reckitt achieved high single-digit growth through wider distribution and improved execution. These firms view India as a key long-term growth engine for their businesses. Plans are underway to increase investments and strengthen their Indian market presence. Shivalik Small Finance Bank completed its acquisition of Mani Bhavnam Home Finance India Private Limited last week. This strategic merger cost the bank nearly 109 crore rupees. The deal establishes Shivalik's presence in the affordable housing finance market. Mani Bhavnam brings a loan book of 320 crore rupees to Shivalik. The bank plans fresh capital infusion to continue its growth trajectory. The government is set to introduce the Taxation and Other Laws Amendment Bill 2026, extending tax incentives for electronics manufacturing, easing rules for foreign investment funds, and offering relief for REITs, InvITs, data centers, and sovereign debt investors. The proposed changes aim to boost investment, strengthen supply chains, and make India's tax regime more business-friendly. Indian banks are raising significant dollar funds offshore to boost foreign currency deposits. Global banks are actively arranging these dollar bond and loan deals for Indian lenders. This fundraising effort aims to attract capital from non-resident Indians worldwide. The Reserve Bank of India's measures are fueling this increased demand for dollar debt. Indian banks could raise nearly $43 billion through offshore loans by 2026. India has proposed tax law amendments to shield offshore investment funds from Indian tax liabilities when they route investments through India-based fund managers, a draft bill showed. The proposed change comes as the country faces significant foreign outflows, prompting the government to take measures to attract overseas investors by easing access. Investors have long complained about aggressive tax administration in India. Several global consumer goods corporations, including prominent players like Apple and Unilever, delivered outstanding results in the June quarter within India. Both companies recorded unprecedented revenues and showcased rapid growth, highlighting that demand has exceeded projections for numerous multinational firms. As these companies pledge ongoing investments and growth in the Indian sector, the country remains a beacon of opportunity despite inflation pressures. The centre will sell up to 6.5% stake in state-run insurance behemoth Life Insurance Corporation or LIC on Tuesday to Wednesday to raise around Rs 31,400 crore at a floor price of Rs 382 per share. The offer for sale or OFS floor price is at a 10% discount to LIC's closing price of Rs 424.35 on the BSE on Monday. The OFS follows LIC's recent issuance of bonus shares in a 1:1 ratio, which made the offer more affordable for a larger section of investors by lowering the per share price. Less than 6 weeks after entering the Unicorn Club, Sarvam AI is set to raise another Rs 700 crore or about $74 million in an extended Series B round led by AI chip maker Nvidia, signaling continued investor confidence in the Bengaluru-based startup as it embarks on building one of the world's largest foundation AI models. The fresh capital comes barely a month after Sarvam announced a $234 million Series B round led by HCL Technologies and Bessemer Venture Partners, with continued backing from existing investors Khosla Ventures and Peak 15 Partners. That round valued the company at over $1 billion, making it India's fifth unicorn this year. With the latest infusion, Sarvam's total funding will rise to nearly $344 million. Indian companies are increasingly pursuing strategic overseas acquisitions. They now focus on acquiring capabilities and technology rather than just scale. Stronger balance sheets and global valuation corrections fuel this trend. This shift represents a structural change in corporate growth strategies. Indian firms are sharpening their global competitive edge through these deals. On Wednesday, the Indian rupee climbed to its highest point in a month, bolstered by a dip in crude oil prices that fueled early gains. Although the Reserve Bank of India's decision to maintain rates restricted further growth, analysts pointed out that immediate support lies around 94.75 with resistance levels at 95.60. Additionally, FX inflows and weakening dollar contributed positively to the rupee's overall sentiment. The Reserve Bank of India maintained its repo rate at 5.25% on Wednesday. This decision marks the fourth consecutive meeting without a change in key interest rate. The central bank cited sticky inflation and geopolitical risks as reasons for its cautious approach. Global economic instability and trade uncertainties also influenced the committee's deliberations. The Monetary Policy Committee retained its neutral policy stance, reflecting ongoing external uncertainties. Ola Electric has signed an MOU with Axis Energy to explore deploying up to 20 gigawatt of battery energy storage systems by 2032. The partnership marks the first large-scale commercial agreement for Ola's upcoming Mahashakti energy storage platform, which is set to launch on August 15th and aims to support India's growing demand for grid-scale energy storage. India's electric vehicle or EV sector is expected to generate 30 to 40 million jobs by 2030, with hiring likely to grow 15 to 20% annually, according to an ADECO India report. The study says the industry is moving beyond vehicle manufacturing into a broader ecosystem driven by demand for specialized skills in engineering, energy systems, and battery technologies. The Reserve Bank of India will soon release a list of upper-layer NBFCs. New principal-based regulations will classify these financial companies into different layers. Companies in the upper layer will be required to publicly list their shares. Tata Sons may be included on the upcoming list of NBFCs. The central bank has not published the specific list since January 2025. Plastic currency notes may enter circulation at the start of next financial year. The Reserve Bank of India is targeting this rollout after completing field trials. These polymer notes will be introduced in the 10 and 20 rupee denominations. They are expected to be more durable and last significantly longer. Existing paper notes will continue to circulate alongside the new plastic ones. The Reserve Bank of India has classified Tata Sons as an upper layer NBFC. This classification follows revised norms for financial companies with significant assets. Tata Sons now faces enhanced regulatory and supervisory scrutiny from the central bank. The company must also comply with listing requirements within 3 years. This move impacts systematically important non-banking financial companies across India. The RBI said Tata Sons' inclusion in the list would not affect its pending application to give up its NBFC registration. Audi AG plans to introduce 6 new vehicles, including electric cars, over the next 18 months in India, in one of its largest ever product offensives as the German luxury car maker aimed to revitalize sales in this expanding market. Targeting a twofold increase in luxury market share over the next 3 years, the German car maker is focusing on innovative electric cars to boost sales beginning in 2027. Global investment firm KKR has acquired Medicover India's hospital business. The transaction values the hospital chain at around Rs 10,000 crore, and KKR may invest another Rs 3,000 to 4,000 crore to fuel expansion. The acquisition strengthens KKR's healthcare portfolio, adding Medicover's 24 hospital network while reinforcing its long-term strategy to capitalize on India's rapidly growing healthcare and hospital sector. The government is creating a customs playbook for key imported goods. This initiative aims to standardize the faceless customs regime across India. It will reduce disputes and speed up clearance time for businesses. The playbook will help companies utilize free trade agreement benefits effectively. This reform seeks to improve ease of doing business and trade efficiency. India's food regulator has ordered energy drink brands to remove the word energy from labels. This directive impacts major brands like Red Bull, Sting, and Campa Cola Boost. Companies face challenges in rebranding and marketing their products without the established term. Distributors are refusing stock, causing trade disruptions and potential market uncertainty. The future of this multi-billion-dollar market now hangs in the balance. Vedanta Aluminium Metal Limited is raising 135 billion rupees from 3 major banks. Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, and ICICI Bank are providing the substantial loan. This marks the first major local currency borrowing after the conglomerate's recent split. Proceeds will refinance existing debt inherited from the integrated company structure. The fundraising supports Vedanta's strategy for independent and flexible financing. Standard Chartered secured in-principle approval to offer wealth management products in GIFT City. The International Financial Services Centres Authority granted this crucial regulatory approval. The bank plans to launch its retail wealth management offerings within the next few months. This move supports GIFT City's goal of becoming a leading international financial services hub. Standard Chartered is the first foreign bank to operate in GIFT City since 2020. Swiggy's Instamart is targeting an impressive Rs 60,000 crore in annualized net order value to achieve profitability. To reach this goal, the platform must double its current orders and enhance contribution margins significantly. This means Instamart should aim to garner an additional Rs 30 per order through various optimizations. However, the competitive advantage of Blinkit's size and profitability poses a formidable challenge amid the ongoing balancing act of growth and economic recovery. US worker productivity saw a stronger than anticipated 1.4% rise last quarter. This growth follows a revised 0.8% increase in the prior period. Businesses investing in artificial intelligence are expected to drive further productivity gains. Unit labor costs also increased at a slower pace than economists predicted. This trend suggests AI may help keep wage inflation contained. Nazara Technologies will raise Rs 733.5 crore through a preferential issue subscribed by the founders and senior leadership of Blue Tile Games and Best Play Systems. The capital will help fund its Rs 2,909 crore takeover of the Spain-based business and support its global gaming push. The fundraise follows a restructuring of Nazara's largest acquisition. Earlier in March, Nazara agreed to buy 50% of Blue Tile and Best Play for Rs 918 crore with performance-linked earnouts and options for the rest. It will now pay a fixed Rs 2,909 crore in cash for 100% with 29% at closing and balance in 3 installments by April 1st, 2027. Private equity firms are cautiously betting with smaller checks into founder-focused and AI-backed IT and software services companies, moving away from traditional buyouts. Such investments are focused on digital, AI infrastructure and data services stack. Valuations are selectively improving with business delivery getting remodeled and reassessed with uptick in AI-led productivity. Banking infrastructure provider M2P Fintech has raised Rs 100 crore in debt from Alteria Capital to fund its artificial intelligence infrastructure and expand its lending, payments and core banking software businesses. The 3-year facility, M2P's second debt raise, will largely finance AI product development and computing capacity. This includes token consumption or the expense incurred. Direct-to-consumer or D2C activewear brand Bliss Club has raised Rs 160 crore in a funding round led by Singularity AMC with participation from founder and chief executive Minu Margaret and Misho co-founder Vidit Atre and existing investors Elevation Capital and 8 Roads Ventures. The fresh capital will be used to expand the company's offline retail network, support category expansion, strengthen product development, and hire for the next stage. Renew plans to sell its hydropower unit for approximately Rs 1,000 crore. This move aligns with the company's asset recycling strategy for new projects. The unit, acquired from Larsen & Toubro, houses projects in Uttarakhand. Several firms engaged in hydropower generation are likely to be approached. Renew is recovering from a failed bid to go private last year. Religare Enterprises demerger plan has been rejected by the Reserve Bank of India. The company received official communication regarding the rejection on August 6, 2026. Religare Finvest Limited also received a similar communication from the regulator. However, stock exchanges have provided their no objection and observation letters. The company will engage with the regulator for further clarifications. Larsen & Toubro is optimistic about its drone division, projecting that revenues will triple within 5 years. To support this growth, the firm will bolster capital expenditure aimed at boosting production capacity in response to India's expanding UAV market. The upcoming delivery of 100 tier drones to the Indian Air Force exemplifies L&T's commitment to enhance its global presence in defense technology. The Reserve Bank of India has proposed new leverage ratio requirements for banks. Globally systemic important banks will face a minimum 3.5% ratio plus a buffer. Domestic systematically important banks will continue with their 4% ratio mandate. Other commercial banks will maintain the existing 3.5% leverage ratio. These proposals align with the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision's framework. Instant home services sector's rising cash burn, coupled with the relatively limited size of the addressable market, is beginning to concern investors tracking the space. The category is economically viable primarily in urban catchments where high order density supports efficient fulfillment and worker utilization. Expanding into lower density neighborhoods is significantly more challenging. Competition in the instant home services segment is intensifying, with platforms such as urban companies InstaHelp, Pronto and Snabit cutting prices to as low as Rs 29 an hour and dispatching workers even before customers schedule booking slots to reduce waiting times. AI-powered equity research platform PineGap has raised $8 million in a funding round as it looks to expand its presence among institutional investors in the United States. Stellaris Venture Partners led the round, which also saw participation from existing investors Inventus, Silicon Valley Quad, and DBC. Indian manufacturers are airlifting components to ensure festive season production continuity. Sea freight delays and congestion are making ocean shipping unreliable for these companies. Air freight costs are significantly higher, but timely supplies are crucial for demand. Companies are absorbing some increased costs to avoid impacting sales recovery. Logistics partners are exploring innovative routes to manage ongoing disruptions. Indian manufacturers are airlifting components to ensure festive season production continuity. Sea freight delays and congestion are making ocean shipping unreliable for these companies. Air freight costs are significantly higher, but timely supplies are crucial for demand. Companies are absorbing some increased costs to avoid impacting sales recovery. Logistics partners are exploring innovative routes to manage ongoing disruptions. Enterprise AI startup Wonderful on Friday announced its India entry with plans to open a Mumbai office and hire an initially 150 forward deployed engineers or FDE, targeting large enterprises that are moving from AI pilots to production deployments. The Amsterdam headquartered company said hiring is already underway across go-to-market, deployment strategy and FDE roles. These engineers will work alongside customers to build, deploy and continuously improve AI agents across enterprise functions. The company expects the India team to expand to a few hundred FDEs within a year and eventually scale to thousands as demand grows. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai.